Okay, I started. Hello, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to Pop Quarter episode something.
Yeah.
I didn't know last time, and last time the episode got canned.
We were
because,
chipmunks.
Yeah, we did not sound good.
We recorded with the camera for the audio, it seems. It's kind of what the assumption of what we have.
I'm gonna assume that the Logitech 4K Brio microphone picked up on the OBS recording, and that just screwed us all up. I'm not sure why. We were doing a different setup.
Yeah. I mean, we think we got it fixed, though.
We should be good.
Yeah, we should be fine.
We should be fine. So with that being said,
But with this time, we hit you with the Babysitter, the sequel.
yeah, Babysitter 2, Killer Queen,
But we should definitely...
Babysitter 1.
We should definitely kind of dive into initial thoughts of the first movie real quick, because that was our last movie that we did.
Well, that's how I'll do the thumbnail and the title to this video as like a 2-for-1 kind of video. So I guess with that being said, hello, not the Killer Queen, Babysitter, first movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just remember some of our basic thoughts. Neither of us. You had seen it before.
Yeah,
he had
once.
seen the first one before. I had not. Wasn't what I thought it was going to be exactly. I love Samara Weaving from the few things I've seen her in. Everything I'm seeing her in, loving it even more. But it just wasn't a movie, in my personal opinion, that handled its titular character, the babysitter, very well.
Yeah.
And I think the coolest part, and especially in the the hindsight of seeing this movie now, I have to say that Max.
Yeah.
My favorite character.
Yeah, Max is
the
great.
The
Max
guy
is
that
great.
always has his shirt off and wants to kill somebody.
Yeah, Max is great.
He's like, I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't even mad.
Yeah, that part was great at the end. He's like, I'm not even mad, dude.
I love that. But
the first movie, I think that, you have the babysitter girl, which is Samara Weaving's character, be best character as far as, like, killer goes, in my opinion, but she wasn't utilized correctly. That was kind of like the general basis of what we kind of rounded out to the last podcast. B is a great character, and the beginning of the first Babysitter movie where you see Cody? Is that what his name is?
Yeah.
The kid? Cody and B.
C.
Yeah, C.
No, Cole.
Cole. Yeah, cool. My bad.
Sorry.
Not Cool. I said his name wrong. But Cole and B, the way they...
I only remember because they called him Coleslaw.
Yeah. So the way that they interact in the beginning before the whole slaughter begins, great, fantastic. But then after that, utilizing, like, Cole seeing her after she turns murderous was not used well. And that was something I wanted from the movie. And with that in mind, I watched the movie prior, obviously. I watched it when it first released. So this is like years later watching it again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good as I remember it being, the first one. The first one I remember it being 10 out of 10. But then when I rewatched it with you here, it wasn't a 10 out of 10.
Especially, like, holding up to some of the other movies we've watched.
Yeah.
Like, Ready or Not.
Happy Death Day.
Scream, even. Any of these movies, which Scream I know, not so much, but, like, kind of.
We've watched a lot of, like, comedic horror movies. Horror movies that dive into having a comedic effect.
Right.
And I think that this one was, and Babysitter, the first one, and we'll talk about the second one here in a minute, but the first one, I felt, the Babysitter one, was way more, like, childish humor than, like, the movies we just said previously for, like, the other franchises.
Right.
I think this one was more high school humor rather than, like, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff made me laugh.
Are you talking about the first one or the
Yeah,
second
the first one.
Okay, first one.
No, I'm not talking about the second one yet. The first one.
Sorry, you said the first and then this. Okay,
second one,
my bad.
I think comedy is way better used. The first one, I don't think it hits as much. But we're not talking about the second one yet.
Another thing I didn't like about the first movie was and this also carries into the second movie, is the non-committal to, like, the stylized text on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, it does it, like, a couple... Like, the second movie is even worse. But in the second movie, it feels more like a callback to the first movie.
It was definitely.
So it was like almost, like, fine. But, like, in the first movie, like, it wanted so badly to be Zombieland.
Zombieland, yeah. That's what we used
that's
for
what
the
we
reference.
talked about, yeah. And, like, it just wasn't. So, it just felt like none of this movie wanted to commit to any of its ideas. It didn't want to show the babysitter for the bulk of it, which I get. It's the death cult, whatever. And there's just a lot of aspects that I walked away not liking. I like the main character, which thankfully pretty much all the characters return. Unfortunately, we get Bella Thorne back because I genuinely think that character is so poorly written, and I think I'm going to say it. I just don't like Bella Thorne.
I mean, I don't know. I liked her in Shake It Up. I liked her in the Scream TV series.
Up.
Listen, everyone watched Shake It Up back in the day.
I didn't watch Shake It Up.
I'm so
The only
sorry.
thing I shook up was Lemonade.
Cool. You're funny. You're a funny guy. I love doing podcasts with him. No, I haven't really watched Bella Thorne a whole lot other than the two I just mentioned, the Extreme TV series, which she dies in the first episode. I'm sorry.
I think we should check out her
Sorry.
directorial debut for the podcast.
Listen, all I'm saying, Bella Thorne's okay, but this character is not okay.
No.
This character in
God, no.
Babysitter is terrible. I agree. Out of all the characters, she's the worst.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think overall though, I think we can kind of generally say like what we thought as a rating because we need to talk about the sequel.
Yeah, quick recap.
I'll go ahead and talk about my final thoughts on the first movie. So The Babysitter, again, I watched previous. This time I thought it was okay. I don't think it was good, but it wasn't bad either. It's one of those movies that I came out just being like, it was a movie.
He said,
It was a movie. I don't know if I'm going to watch it ever again. But like, listen, I'm here for Samara Weaving. That's my girl. Claimed.
you know what?
I'm just saying.
Second movie did it better.
100%. And she's only in it for like 10 seconds.
That's not what I meant.
What?
I meant the new poster girl.
Oh, the Jenna Ortega. Listen,
I'm just saying.
I'm just going to hit a reference with you, Phineas and Ferb fans. You know,
Where are we going?
I've seen a movie with Jenna Ortega and Samara Weaving, and it's only happened twice. You know, it's kind of weird to say, but it's happened twice. You know, there's a meme.
Isn't it like if I had a nickel?
Yeah, if I had a nickel,
I'd have two.
Yeah,
but
I'd
it's
have
weird
two.
that it happened twice.
Yeah, I botched
I
it.
was. You fucked
I
that up,
effed it
man.
Sorry, my bad. I'm tired. I slept an hour today, so
Okay.
I'm tired. But yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall though, like Samara Weaving being in there, being a great character, great actor as always. Cool, fantastic protagonist. I think he carried the movie in the first one.
You believe that?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm just kidding. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Cole came in clutch in the first movie.
He was clutch. I agree.
And again, Max is always funny. The dude without a shirt. He's so funny every time he's on
You know,
screen.
actually, in the first podcast, I don't think I really talked about him too much, but the doctor in the beginning, lives up to the role in the second one.
The flu shot or the shot, yeah. But great. I mean, the cast was great. It's just the jokes weren't as funny as I'd like them to be, especially since we've been watching these other horror comedic movies that just does it better. And with that in mind,
quite literally the only. Yeah, sorry, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I just there were and something I didn't say with this one that I said previously in their actual like Babysitter One podcast is the gore actually wasn't bad. The gore came in pretty well, and
Not in the second one.
the first one did really well though.
The first one
was really good. Really
Yeah.
good. The second one went for more over the top. The first one was more.
Yeah.
The first one was more realistic, and it was really bloody. And the parents, Cool's parents, funny. You know, they're funny as always.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good things here, but it's not enough to like make you want a sequel. After watching the first one,
Watching the first one,
there wasn't a need for a sequel for me. I'm
No.
like, you know, it was a good one-off movie. It's like cool. I rated it a 6.5, and I'm probably going to stick there because I personally think the second one's better. We'll talk about it, but I think the second one's more entertaining. But I do think that the first one set some stuff up for the second one that makes the second one better because of it being like a piggyback from the first one or being set up.
That's fair.
I think there's a lot there to unpack here in a minute. But first one, I'm giving it a 6.5. Not bad, but not super good either. I'd recommend people to give it a shot and see what you think. But yeah, it's a good flick.
That's fair enough. I gave it a 6.5. No, I didn't. I gave it a 6. You gave it a 6.5. I was just
first
I'm like
of all,
a parrot.
I am the one who raises it up the stakes. You're always the lower loser.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, anyway, pretty much everything I've been saying this whole time. That's how I feel. Go fuck yourself. I'm sick of the fact that 40-minute podcast got erased.
So you just start a podcast and you go, all the opinions that I have, that's what I think. See ya.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I talked about him leading up. Max, great. C, great. B, great. Not really, but like I wish she was in it more.
What's the girlfriend here? I don't know why I just randomly forgot her name. She was in the second one.
Like the one, like the girl gone bad. Starts with an M, right?
Yeah. Is it
Melissa?
Why do I not remember? We literally just watched the second movie where she is literally a big character.
Fat jokes aren't funny.
Whatever. She looked fine in the second one. What do you mean?
She did. she was fine.
No, the first one though, she obviously was a little girl because it like kind of Cole's crush.
Right.
But yeah, she. What do you think of that character? I mean, I thought she was all right. I mean, she was funny.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
She just wasn't in it that much.
The only characters that I really didn't like from the first movie were Bella Thorne's character.
Yeah.
And the dad. Not
Cole's dad.
Not Cole's dad, the other guy.
The dad is better than the second one though. The
Yeah.
second one, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's a living legend.
The first one, yeah, he was whack.
And that's something I will say as a benefit. The first movie didn't overstay its welcome. It was pretty good runtime. I thought the second movie definitely blew it.
It was a little long.
It blew it.
It was a little long.
You blew it.
Because there was a time where you messed up the TV. And like you went back to it, and there was still like 50 minutes left.
We're halfway through. I was like, I could have swore we just started the third act.
Yeah, I was gonna say we still had like 50 minutes left. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah.
So 6.5.
6.5. I mean, yeah.
Before we actually get into Babysitter 2.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Jenna Ortega's, crowning achievement of a role.
I love Jenna.
I do too. I actually wanted to ask you, and I don't remember exactly to what extent we covered this in the last one as we were joking around, but
yeah,
babysitter stories. Did you have any babysitter stories that are just unique or interesting?
Oh, we're getting back into that again.
I think we should. I mean that's some of our. I think that's got to be some of our best material. Right there.
Babysitter stories. I ain't got none. I'm too cool of a guy. I didn't have a babysitter.
What do you mean? They just left you home?
Nah, my grandparents watched me if my mom couldn't. So
they left you in a closet.
I didn't have.
That's why you're still not out.
I wasn't you who had your hot cousin come over and
my hot cousin. I was gonna say I wish.
Seth, dude, come on.
You're right.
Seth is a snack, dude. I hope he watches this and just hears me hitting on him.
I'm gonna make this into a short and send it to him.
I love you, Seth.
Yeah.
No,
I love you, God.
No, for me, babysitting, like it was just my grandma, my grandpa, my grandparents. They watched me. That's it. I didn't have a nanny. I didn't have some. I didn't have Samara Weaving blessing me with her presence as I'm a child.
All I'm saying is, she could have taken my blood.
Yeah, for sure. Like, take it. I don't like needles either. I agree, Cole, but like, here you go.
I'll do it for you. Like, no big deal.
We are mega simps.
Naturally, as the last episode was so sadly lost, I did have a babysitter story.
Which one are we talking about? The fish or
did I have two?
You talked about the fish, and then you also talked about something else.
Okay, but I remember talking about the fish, but that wasn't a babysitter story.
Right? I don't know.
It was because I was a menace. All right, back in my day, my cousin did in fact watch me. He was not hot.
I was gonna take a drink. Shut up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just
just wait until I'm done. Hold on.
I'll just shut up on this podcast. Anyway,
you may continue.
You got issues, man. So anyway, I was a menace. There was a point in time where, as he decided to enter the bathroom on his own volition, I thought it would be hilarious if I got ketchup and a knife and I deposited the knife in my armpit, laid on the ground flat on my back.
Original story, by the way.
Definitely 100% original story. Spread the ketchup, the gnarly gore throughout my body, and I had it all set up. But the thing is, I didn't really emphasize this last time, I feel, but like, he was in there a while, right? So I was like,
just laying there,
I didn't want to sit there and like let the ketchup run all over the place because I wasn't trying to get it on the floor. I didn't want to clean it up. I was just ready to hop in the shower after or something. And he was just in there for a really long time, or at least it felt like a long time. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, I can't move because I'm going to move the ketchup. But I also don't want to just sit here on the floor. So I ended up having to wait, pretending to be dead on the floor this whole time. And then when he comes out, he just walks right up to me, looks down, he goes, "Get up." And that's it.
All that time wasted for a get up.
Yeah, so that
Johnny
was...
Get up. I'm sorry you don't get that reference.
Yeah, I don't waste my time.
Oh my god.
Anyway...
You made me watch the original Texas Chainsaw. Of course you waste time. Sorry, Texas Chainsaw fans.
Yeah, all 10 of you. Anyway.
So, Babysitter 2, dude.
Babysitter 2.
The sequel, The Awakening.
So you like it better.
I do like it better.
You've never... Neither of us...
No,
have seen
either
this
have
one.
no.
And,
Listen.
we're both coming fresh off the last one from last week.
And it's crazy I never watched it because Jenna Ortega's in it. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
So...
What did you first off? What did you think of the not plot twist, but like the they definitely market it like she's gonna be the next big bad.
Yeah, Jenna. Yeah,
Like
they
she's on the
definitely.
cover and everything.
Mhm.
Like,
And even when she comes into the school,
he's
she's
like
kind
checking
of
out her tattoo and everything. And like I was trying to remember if that was part of the because B had that tattoo, right? The cat tattoo. That's why he paid attention.
maybe.
But then I think it was because she was inspired to get it from her. Now that we know the whole story,
yeah.
maybe
Well,
that's the case.
honestly, though, like I didn't know what to think going in because like they were setting it up. Even like when she enters the school, she's acting like this bad, girl, and like everyone's like, oh, she killed her parents, and like all this stuff, and she had like negative energy on her. So like me, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, maybe she's probably gonna be a good character, but like at the end of the day, too, I wasn't like full certain she was gonna be a good character.
I thought it was gonna be a double fake out.
Yeah, that's
when
what I was
When
thinking.
she led him downstairs and
all to the like
yeah,
the house.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
and I was like, oh, she said that she had something to do here too. What's that all about?
Mhm.
And it turned out being fine.
I think I like her not being a bad person
Oh, yeah.
though.
Yeah, I
And
like it.
I don't know how you feel, but I mean,
What do you think of that visualization of their sex with the musical number?
stop.
I mean,
I was just like, what is happening? But yeah.
yeah. Didn't you know that's what that's like?
Oh, is that what it's like? Is that how Lid was born?
No, petri dish.
What?
Anyway,
No.
this movie is very creative.
Listen. I was just curious on how this was gonna go because we start off in like the school and everything, and I'm like, okay, how are we bringing these characters back? Because like I knew from the trailer that like the gang was coming back. They didn't tease Samara Weaving's character. B wasn't teased in the trailer that I saw.
No.
So I'm sitting here thinking, is B coming back or like how's this working? So I was curious how we were gonna get the original gang back, and I was also curious on what was gonna happen to bring them back or what the twist was because they were just going on vacation with like. Again, the girl, his crush that he like kissed or whatever in the first movie, but they're all grown up now.
Right.
I don't know why I can't think of her name. Starts with an M, but
I think it's Melissa.
It's something like that. But yeah, they're all going together, going to like a spring break kind of place on the beach,
Yeah.
and like I'm just like, what's happening here? What's going on? And then
Where's the babysitters?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And when it kicked off, it was interesting. I felt like this one was definitely more shocking when like you get the reveal that like because like I didn't see
It's the good character from the first movie.
but like I didn't see that one coming that she was going to be part of the cult.
No, I didn't either.
But like Samara Weaving's character B, like we all knew that nerd guy when they're like in that makeout circle. We knew he was getting axed.
Yeah, no, I didn't suspect a thing for that group. I just really didn't think it was gonna go that way.
Yeah, neither did I. I just figured they would have that group would have ran into the group from the original.
Yeah,
And
and
then
it'd
they
be like a
would've-
slasher type
Yeah,
situation.
that's what I was thinking. So honestly, with the way it turned out, I liked it. I liked the way that like she was part of the cult,
Yeah, that's fair.
and so was the whole group besides the one girl. Yeah, it was a girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, out of curiosity, my good friend, how do you feel about the idea that this movie isn't a babysitter movie at all, except for the very end?
No, it's literally not a sequel. Like I
I
mean they
it's a
use the
sequel.
characters.
It's a sequel, but it's not.
but it's not a babysitting movie.
We can't make this a babysitting franchise. Yeah,
Like,
the Babysitter cinematic universe.
well, like think about it. The whole first movie was based around B, the babysitter, and everything and all that. But like this movie, she's not in until the end, and even
I
then,
would like to
like
F the Babysitter. Am I right?
yes,
That was a joke.
right.
Right.
No, I think
see myself out.
listen, I think that this movie is a lot better but it definitely doesn't. Listen, I think this movie's a lot better than the first one, but I think that this one doesn't earn the title Babysitter. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
I think this movie was structured a lot better, and the jokes hit more for me.
This movie was
a lot funnier.
This movie was funnier, but it also did stuff that was just like way more bizarre.
It's weird because like the first one
it was taking me out just as many times as it was making me laugh in this one. So I think it kind of almost, in my eyes, canceled out.
There was positive because like the first one, I like the gore more.
Yes.
The second one, the sequel.
The second one, it looked fake.
Yeah, the
like
sequel
it just
did
looked
not.
bad. I just thought it looked bad.
The boat when it like went on Sonya's head or whatever.
Yeah.
And, it looks so wacky.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened with the gore effects? Because the first one was really good, and yeah, I don't know what happened there, but the jokes made me laugh, dude. Freaking the two dads talking about Halo and Fortnite, dude. It's us for real.
I'm a Fortnite guy. I'm actually like a Halo guy right now.
You're actually trash though.
You saw my Fortnite edits, man. I'm too good.
But this movie
Follow me on Twitter at FallingHurts1. Thank you.
Was real funny. I laughed a lot more in this movie than I did the previous one. And honestly, seeing the characters grow up, even though it was just the two, but seeing Cole and his little crush there grow up,
yeah,
I liked it. I really liked seeing them actually. I think they're the same actors, but see them grown up.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are.
And I think the acting was really good. Again, except for Bella Thorne.
Oh my god, I just can't stand the character.
I don't think it's Bella Thorne's fault. I just think that character is just overly obnoxiously annoying.
Yes,
it's just like shut up.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree on that one. So we kind of alluded to it earlier. The pacing of this movie, I think, is whack. You know, as you said, I'm a fucking idiot, and I fell on the remote twice throughout the course of this movie, and just completely backed out of the movie. And both times I re-added it on, I was like, holy shit, how much time do we have left? And like, I could have swore the movie was over. Or like almost over. And it's just because there was a lot going on. Like, we followed a little bit of a storyline with the parents.
There's a lot more characters involved in this one.
Too much.
Too much. We gotta think. We have what is Jenna Ortega's name? It's like
Phoebe.
Phoebe. Yeah, I know it started with a P. Phoebe, you have to follow her story and her arc as to like her being this bad girl, and then you think she's part of the cult, but she's not really. And then she ends up being the love interest. You have the original love interest being part of the cult and seeing why she's the part of the cult. You have to talk about why the original cult's back. Then you have to talk about like everyone who like thinks Cole's crazy because everyone thinks that like he's just didn't. No one else saw it, so.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I may be. Did they recast John?
John.
The black guy from the first movie?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I think it's the same guy.
He must have like lost weight or something. He seemed like taller and thinner. I thought.
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I mean, it could be. Don't get me wrong, but and he was knocking out all the moves in this movie, and it was so funny when he finally got splurted with the blood on the face again. I was like, just like old times.
And then just again the twist with like B coming back, and then you have like the parents and like them like talking about the teenagers and trying to figure out where their sons and daughters are, and you have their clash happening.
Right.
There's just so much to tie in together. I felt like there was a lot of stuff happening compared to the first one, where it was like kid runs away from one bad guy, they die. Kid runs away from other bad guy. You know, I felt like this one was a lot more involved with other characters, and as the first one was just a simplistic plot. But
another thing that I think makes this movie more relevant, the first movie came out in, I think, 2017. This movie came out in 2020, okay? So 2017, the jokes made in that movie, while they were less altogether, they didn't feel modern, the jokes. Like, a lot of it felt like rooted in, like, that late 2000s comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the cheerleader that wants the big boobs and to be funny and smart. And get the, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And then, like, obviously those stereotypes carried over, but, like, in this movie, you've got, like, hey, don't you guys have that, that face surveillance camera stuff that's all over, like, you can track anybody at any time? I saw it on TV, so it must be real, right? Like, stuff like that. Like, of course, and again, poking fun.
We already said it, but, like, referencing, like, Halo and
Did
Fortnite.
you take a weed?
Yeah, Halo, Fortnite being referenced. You have, all these different type of things that are kind of, like, pop cultural.
Fortnite had just came out when the first movie came out.
Yeah, in 2017.
Isn't that
yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
R.I.P. Fortnite.
So, for this movie,
Yeah.
I didn't really care about any of the new characters in the cult except for his original, like Cole's original crush.
Yeah, what's her name?
It starts with an M. I don't care. Listen, she was great. She pulled off the crazy girl pretty well. But I just don't think any of the other characters.
Hey Siri. In The Babysitter, what is Cole's crush's name?
Okay, I found this on the web for In The Babysitter. What is Cole's crush's name? Check it out.
Melanie.
I knew it started with an M, and I knew we were both wrong, so that's why I just stopped saying them.
I was close.
Melanie, okay.
Melissa.
Whatever. Melanie, yes.
Melanin.
Melon. I'm going to call her Melon.
Melon.
So, Melon was a pretty good character here. I liked the change. I didn't see the twist coming of her being part of it. I liked it.
Yeah.
And the other characters, not so much. They were just
That's fair.
fluff.
That's fair,
It didn't
yeah.
really matter.
I thought Max, amazing.
Yeah, he's
Love
always
him.
so good, dude.
I love that. I actually just want to watch everything that guy's in now. I think it's so funny. But yes, overall, I agree that this movie is funnier. I think at the same time it's stranger. It's got like a little, it totes a finer line of humor and things like that. And I feel like it throws a wider net to catch more people, rather than just being one very niche, specific type of throwaway jokes from the first movie.
Yeah.
And
I like the different settings because the first one was always just in the house and the yard.
yeah, no,
I do like this one.
I like
a lot
that. I
for
think
setting wise.
I think my biggest shortcomings with this movie is the actual babysitter plot gone.
Yeah.
Not there.
Yeah.
And then also it felt like this movie got a little bit more of a budget, but not enough of one to where they felt like they could try out some CGI stuff, but not enough of one to where it was good.
Good CGI. Yeah, like really good CGI. I
So
see.
like yeah, I just didn't think. I mean, a lot of it was serviceable. It's fine. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that didn't look photorealistic.
I don't think any of it was bad to the point where you gotta like laugh at it and call it trash and deduct points for it.
No.
But I do think that you're right. I agree. The first movie
I noticed it, and I
Yeah.
noticed it every time.
Yeah,
So-
but the first movie, it's weird because the first movie definitely had better gore. Like it
Yes.
looked more
Yeah.
realistic.
Well, not even just the gore. I mean, like the explosions on the screen in this one. Just anything just didn't look as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just due to the wider scope of everything. Just everything got stretched thinner. Does that make sense?
Shut up, rapist.
That is probably one of my favorite. Was it Shut Up or was it Silence? Rachel?
I don't really.
Regardless, hilarious.
Just burns them alive.
I wish I knew a rapist to say that to. Like,
Hold on.
you can't just say that to somebody and like.
I guess I just said it to you.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're wearing the hat. I mean.
Yeah, what's up, doll? It's cultural
He
appropriation.
said, "Yeah, I'll take you back when my wife gets here. She went out to get some wood 10 years ago."
10 years ago. Yeah, so fun times. But with that being said, is there any other major points you want to talk about for this movie? I feel like with us juggling the two, I feel like
I mean,
we're hitting a lot of the same points for each movie, regardless.
Well, they're very similar. I mean, they're made by the same people.
Yes.
I mean, same actors, same characters, besides a few new entries. And,
Yeah.
the vibe is still the same. It's just, there's more characters, and they dive more into other characters other than
Yeah,
I'm cool.
I don't think I like that, personally. I mean, I like that there were new characters.
I don't know, because Cool is clutch. Like, Cool is the best character in the first movie, and he's awesome and amazing, and probably the best character in the second movie too. But I really like Jenna Ortega's character. Phoebe was really good. She was really well developed, and I really liked how we started with her being this bad girl, but then she softens up and she's actually not the bad girl, right?
Right.
And I like that. And I love her entry to where you find out she's not part of it, because it's when you find out about Melanie? Melon?
Yes.
When you found out about
Melon.
Melon being part of the cult and stuff, and they decapitate the one girl, you see Phoebe just kind of go in, and she's looking for gas. She's like, "Hey," and she's like,
"You guys are really into cosplay."
"Yeah." She's like, "You're really into cosplay, huh?" She's like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I loved her character, and I loved actually because if we wouldn't have got as much character development with her, it would have been unfortunate. Because A, Jenna Ortega is amazing, but B, they did that character well. They
Right.
really set her up to be like this bad gothic girl, and then
You know, we talked about how the early twists of the movie wasn't as foreseeable as the first movies.
yeah,
I gotta say that once I realized that B was gonna be in the movie, like at the end, I was like, okay, they're gonna make it to where she was also her babysitter. I immediately called
well, I kind of figured that's what I was assuming anyways, because like when you see like Phoebe in the side passenger of the car, you see that someone's in there, and you're just like,
Right,
yeah, you
right.
were just like, okay, who's that? The babysitter or something? And then we're like, oh,
that. We know-
probably,
we know a babysitter.
yeah. But how do you like that twist though of her not drinking the blood and then being kind of like a good person now
Yeah.
for B, of course, like
Right.
because like she ends up like apparently like doing all this to save them and stuff because like
Yeah.
at the end of the first movie, like the way it ended, she like ended up being a good person.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, she was still like at the very end of that movie, she kind of killed them and erased it all.
Yeah,
If you
she-
think about it, off screen, she still did some rough.
Yeah, for sure. Like
But-
she's not a saint. Like don't get me
No.
wrong, but like the way this whole movie was set up, she's the one that planted. Like she planted the bear in Phoebe's
Absolutely.
locker
Absolutely.
to get him at the house, and like she planted all, and she got like all the characters that are in there in the cult. Like B's the one that got them to enter the cult.
Right.
Because that's another thing I want to talk about for this movie is you find out every person's reason as to why they're
From
in
the
the cult
from the original.
and the new
Well,
characters.
kind of, yeah.
Like you at least you get like a basis of like why did they? Because like the cult's supposed to be like if you drink the blood of an innocence and the blood of whatever mixed together, a sacrifice and
Sacrifice and
innocent,
innocent.
and then you get whatever you want in the world. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, and like everyone, like one wants to be obviously like the famous journalist, the hot journalist.
That's
the
me.
other one wants to be, a giant influencer. One wants to be a singer. Like there's a bunch of different.
I don't
things.
think I'd want to be a giant influencer. I think I'd rather just be a regular sized influencer.
Yeah. But it's just funny because like every time they're all like having a bad day, you just see B just kind of come in and be like, "Hey, listen,
This is
I
what
got
you can
you."
do. Yeah. It shows you that little bit of manipulation tactic there.
Mhm.
Yeah, do we want to hop into kind of final verdicts here?
You go first. I did it for the first movie here.
Gotcha. Well, my opinions are as they are.
Huge. Settle it down. His opinions are as he said.
Yeah.
That is the end.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Ultimately, I think that this movie has positives that really add to the original experience, but then there's also negatives that the first movie didn't have, such as like pacing and like a weird, shoddy visuals at times, but then also like the weird deliberation of certain plot elements. And then for like the positives though, there's like things, like the characters they're returning and they double down on the kind of zaniness that they are. A lot of the jokes do land more, even if some of them are like even weirder than the first movie. And ultimately it just plays on more of the first movie, and I think it has a pretty substantially impactful ending, all things considered, especially if you've watched both of them back to back.
I love the setting, by the way. Just like on the beach with all like the
Oh yeah, no, that was really cool.
things on fire and everything. It looks so cool.
I
Set
agree.
piece wise, it looked great.
But I think in my head, with the first movie being a 6, I think like the positives and the negatives, in my opinion, like perfectly outweigh one another. I think this is another 6.
6, yeah.
I think it's another 6. I don't see it going above the first movie, but I because the first movie had such a tight premise and very tight knit, environment, cast, all this different things, and I think the second movie goes bigger and bigger, and some of it hits and some of it doesn't.
Yep.
So it just is what it is. I think it's a 6. So.
Gotcha. Well, I'll pull one from your book. My opinions are my opinions. I said what I needed to say.
Gotcha. All right, see you guys.
later. No, I think that this movie definitely did a lot of things right, did a lot of things wrong. I think that the premise of the first movie, like you said, being so tight, it's interesting to see this sequel because it takes what that premise was and throws it away.
Yeah.
Because everything about a babysitter and like everything about being in a confined space at your home, your house, it's gone. It's not
Yeah.
a thing anymore. But I mean, it makes sense to be called Babysitter 2 because the characters are returned.
Sure, dude.
Yeah. So it makes sense as to why it's a sequel, but at the same time, it doesn't really need to technically be a sequel because it's not a Babysitter 2. Like, really. Like, there's not it's not like, cool, got a second babysitter. A different girl, maybe Jenna Ortega comes to his house and the babysitter, and then sacrifices begin again.
Right.
You know, that is something I would have thought for a sequel of the original, but we got this. And honestly, I prefer this better. This movie clashed more with me and kept me more entertained. And though this movie I felt was a lot longer, I don't actually know the correlation.
It's actually only like 15 minutes longer.
Really? I felt like this movie, that just explains...
Maybe not even 50, like 12 to 15 minutes longer. I'm not sure.
I think pacing definitely was a big issue for this movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't like bored or wasn't like annoyingly like, ugh, come on. Like the jokes kept me there. They were funny this time around on like the first one for me. And again, the character development of all the characters and seeing Melon turn crazy. Mm-hmm. Loved it. Even though like her reason is just wanting to be famous, which I think is kind of weird. Like, why? But whatever. Yeah. I think that was dumb. But seeing her turn evil, especially being the only person that was ever really close to Cole, except B, it's interesting to see how that worked. But yeah, maybe we'll get a third one, and then Jenna Ortega's character, Phoebe, will be evil, because everyone Cole is close with just wants to murder.
I don't know. He actually gave this one some penis, so...
Yeah, he's no longer innocent, so take that as you will.
He can't be brought into it, so...
Yeah, you have to get a new kid.
All right, well...
But, honestly, the first movie, 6.5, I'm not going to raise it too much. I'm probably going to slap a 7 on this one.
All right.
I think I like this one more.
Lucky 7.
First one's not bad either. Definitely give both of them a watch if you've never seen them. And yeah.
All right. That's fair enough.
Do we know what we're doing next? No idea.
No. Yeah, I got some votes. We'll see how it goes. Regardless, though, thank you for watching.
If it actually worked this time.
Yeah, hopefully it works. If it doesn't, this is just lost to the tapes. We've been talking to ourselves for another 35, 40 minutes.
Heck, I do it at my house the whole time.
That's fair enough.
I'm just like, yo, blah, blah, blah.
All right, well, thank you for tuning into this double feature episode.
Bye!
Oh, yeah, baby.